So I'm talking about this one question. Why at Harvard University, Brigham and Women's Hospital, world-class places, would anybody want to even dabble in something unconventional? This is like the place to be. And here we are talking about unconventional, it was complementary, alternative, et cetera, et cetera. Why? What's missing or what's going on? Went the wrong way. Maybe there's couple of reasons. One is a philosophical one written by a historian in medicine. That's what's special to modern Western medicine. It's one healing system among many, yet it's formally, at least in large measure, broken with the traditional wisdom of the body. And then I love this. Herein lies its strengths and its weaknesses. Nowadays, you're either right or wrong, left or right. This has strengths and weaknesses. To break with the traditional wisdom of the body, the idea that a body can heal, that there's something mysterious we don't just capture so easily in science. So in other words, we have decided the body is a fantastic machine, it's wonderful, it's amazing, and the goal of healthcare in standard conventional medicine is fix the broken part. Makes sense, and many have had great success on this. We've also discovered some things about that, and we might ask, do you want your doctor to be more like a mechanic or a gardener? And we know we've had the experience of the mechanic, head, shoulders, knees, or toes, but not all of them. You can tell I'm a new grandpa. They'll fix a broken part in a way that's which is magnificent. They focus on that part. They don't really care about the rest. They're going to replace your knee magnificently, fix a disc, whatever it is will be done beautifully. And gardeners do other things. I'm not a very good gardener, but if you do some of the things over there on the right, apparently you don't even get weeds. I haven't seen that yet, but you make the plants so strong that they're living so well and they're resilient. So that's why in an integrative medicine, and our belief is you do some of the things on the right. We ask about your nutrition. We wonder about your gut microflora and your sleep and your rhythms in life, how balanced you are, your stress management, do you exercise, how resilient are you? These suddenly become really important. Less to a mechanic, more to a gardener. So integrative medicine to me is really a state of mind. It's an attitude of mind. And we used to joke in our clinic, how many doctors does it take to make an integrative team, or how many practitioners? My answer was one. If you have this attitude of mind of thinking this way about medicine, you're an integrative practitioner. We prefer therapeutic lifestyle changes that enhance that natural ability to heal. Again, that's 18th century words. Natural ability to heal, that's not very scientific, but we think it's as alive and as mysterious and worth looking at as anything else. So we're interested in I'm interested in what you believe about your health, because I think it's very hard to take care of someone if you haven't asked them what they want, what they need, what they believe. We also believe, the second big, to me, that drew me into integrative medicine, I had been a primary care doctor for 25 years. I loved my practice. It was very important. It was very powerful. It had a profound effect on me. And I learned that the therapeutic relationship is of utmost importance in healing. And I used to joke with Harvard medical students when I would teach them. They'd come back from a Nobel lecture on the liver. And I used to ask them, well, what do you think the half-life of that information is? And they'd engage with that. Oh, it's 10 years, 5 years, 30 years, because it's a whole new concept. And I'd say, what about the stuff we're trying to learn here about the patient-doctor relationship? And they looked at me blindly, I don't know. And I said, oh, I guess 100,000 years. Why? Because whatever form of medicine exists ever, there's going to be some kind of clinician and some kind of person suffering, and there's going to have to be a relationship. So to me, that is a profound truth that will go on indefinitely. We also really love to collaborate with other health providers. We like to educate people to take care of themselves. So when you get to the question, mechanic or gardener, David pointed it out beautifully, what some people knew who were practicing. Everybody chooses both, or the people that are interested choose both. And I also thought it profound that David pointed out in your study that those going to the conventional docs never spoke about the other ones they went to. They were almost embarrassed or ashamed. I went to an acupuncturist, just making sure I'm still going to be your patient. It was a shameful thing. And David just put it out on the table. That's what the greatest part of that study was. The people that needed to know this learned this. So we built a team. And our goal was a real team, not multidisciplinary, which we all do. If you know, every one of you here has been to 5 different specialists for 5 different problems, and that's multidisciplinary. Sometimes they talk to each other, maybe not. Interdisciplinary, there's some relationships among that team. We wanted to build a transdisciplinary, what David spoke about, bilingual. Everyone's going to become bilingual. We're going to speak Western medicine conventional, we're going to speak unconventional. And at the table, the brain surgeon and the acupuncturist have the same weight of presence. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're trying. Here's the team. On the left is the team, that's the members that are still there. Xiaoming Cheng, acupuncturist. Matt Kowalski will speak in a minute, a wonderful chiropractor. I learned that chiropractic care is way bigger than just going to a chiropractor to snap your back. I learned a lot of things from chiropractors, actually. One of them almost hit me for my ignorance, a guy I liked a lot. I'm on the team. Art Medor is disguised as a massage therapist, but he teaches things like core integration, Feldenkrais movement, stuff that you can't find a box for in the traditional diagnoses easily, but it's helped so many people through the things mechanical, such as I had my hip replaced. Now I discover I walk funny and my back hurts. Also, I get headaches. That's a daily thing to Art. He knows what to start doing. Jifan Roche is also disguised as a massage therapist, but does craniosacral therapy. Mysterious, very mysterious light touch. Is it real? One of the researchers on our team said, I don't know, but I'm sending you a lot of my patients and their headaches are getting better, so we should study this. Meredith Beatenstar, also disguised as an occupational therapist, is a health coach. And the rest on the other side have either joined us or they're collaborators. Carrie Bernstein's a neurologist with headaches. Julia Lowenthal, geriatrician. What a cool one that is, if we could bring that into integrative medicine. Tom Eckes joined us as a chiropractor. Darshan's here, mostly with mind-body medicine, but all of integrative medicine. His knowledge is getting broader and broader than any of us right now. Katie Walker is an acupuncturist working in the pain unit. And Peter is now, it's not just the Osher conferences. We have Tai Chi at the clinic and classes and teaching us how to think scientifically. Because one of the things I'll say about the team, everyone here was quite successful on their own. They did not need a team. They didn't need to go wear a silly badge and go through all this junk to be at a hospital and park, all that. They didn't need to be here. So I would ask them, why are you doing this? And losing money probably. And they could make more in their private practice. Everybody wanted to be part of a team and part of a scientific institution and pass on what they're doing. Also learn more about it. That's exciting people to work with. They want to learn more. And just the attitude, I don't even care how many publications, when you're sitting in a place like this, the attitude of science permeates. Like, will that hold up? That sounds, that's dumb. You said you can cure plantar fasciitis? Well, how would you show us that? And suddenly Peter would say, write up a series of cases. Took a lot of work, woke us up to what it is to be in a scientific community. I guess the final point is that one of the things I think we believe, all of us, is this concept that curing, which would be more mechanical, is not the same as healing. And I think that begins to get to what's important, because healing is a really different process. And what I said at the bottom there, a person at the end of life, for example, can have been through a lot and their cancer is not going to go away, but they feel whole and they're sort of ready. That's a profound state to be in. They sort of feel healed, even though it hasn't gone away. And others have been cured, given, we'll see you in 5 years, and they've never recovered. It's somehow, they're carrying something with them that is not whole. And curing and healing, these are big parts to me of what medicine is. And now I'm reflecting on my career. 45 years ago, I started in medicine. I've been doing it uninterruptedly all that time. It's an amazing privilege to, as a primary care doc, to get into people's lives. I've found out things that they had never told their spouses, which it's in my head somewhere. Now I'm forgetting a lot of it, so they're lucky. No one will ever hear it. But there's so much you learn about in a relationship. And I've discovered some things. Here's some of the things we want to do in this thing called healing. We want to restore hope is one of the things that most of our practitioners say we leave out. Make sure I mention that hope. If I can just show a person with Parkinson's how they can get out of bed differently, they now have hope. Maybe I can continue my life. And the relief of suffering. I made the team suffer over this one because I brought it up every day. It bothers me a lot that a person could go to a doctor's office and come out suffering worse than they went in. And everyone knows that. Something was, we're going to get a chest x-ray. Well, I just need a chest. Well, why? We'll see. What do you mean you'll see? What are you thinking of? Now they go home, I think I have lung cancer. They want a chest x-ray. It's the littlest things like that to the bigger things that you come out and you just didn't feel seen. One of the things I've discovered in all these years and from so many people is that everybody in this room is suffering in some way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. There's no one here that isn't suffering, and you don't have to tell us, but it's okay. It's part of life. Also, everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be seen, and it's not always the case. And so in seeing the breadth and depth of suffering in the human life cycle and human communities, I also discovered, and this one is the most wonderful part of it all, is the depth of kindness and compassion and wisdom and love that people have. It doesn't always show, but it's given me an amazing confirmation about the world we're in today. There's never been a very peaceful time in this world. I love history. I don't know if there's 20 years that wasn't war and horror on this planet. So there's always been plenty of reasons to say life is terrible. But I am now convinced more than ever that the amount of kindness and compassion and ability to try to love so outweighs the rest. None of us would have gotten to work today or gotten here alive if people didn't stay on the right side of the road, maybe yield instead of cut you off, maybe open a door for you, or maybe just be a decent person. 90% of people are in that category. Sadly, our news is the 10% or less, or 2% doing horrendous things. Side stories, by the way, are people that put their life on the line during all the tragedies that have gone on. I know some of those people. They stood up, a guy had a gun, and they weren't going to let this guy do damage. That's an amazing quality. What I've seen, though, as a doctor is it's really more prevalent than I thought. Every one of us has a part of that in them. So I think when you're seen and we understand your suffering, I think people are able to be more of themselves. So to me, the future of medicine, I think I have another slide or two, or don't I? Oh, I'm supposed to talk a little bit about that. I'll say it in a minute then. Yeah, we don't have a paradigm. We don't seem to fit anywhere. We come out of all kinds of roots, and we are guided and informed by scientific evidence, which is why Julie Burning is going to speak next, a terrific researcher, and is one of the people that keeps that attitude of science always over us. But, and I'll read that last. What I think is, as medicine goes forward, and why are we at Harvard? Why are we at the Brigham and Women's Hospital? Because I don't think as we get on in life and in the history of medicine, we're going to just need new gadgets. You know, soon we'll all be wearing a watch telling us when to eat. Even if you're not hungry, you're supposed to eat now because something's being measured that's telling us this. And it's fun. And there'll be new techniques and things to replace practically everything. I haven't seen a personality transplant yet, but that could be cool if that happened. But I think what's really going to be the importance in medicine is new tools for studying and assessing suffering and healing. If we can really start to see what those mean. They're so hard to measurable, and in general, the measurable drives out the important. But to assess how the person sitting in front of me is suffering and how can I help them heal, that's going to be the big future. So discoveries in medicine have been made possible only by never-ending struggle against entrenched error, by an unflagging recognition that the accepted methods and philosophical principles underlying basic research must be constantly revised. Disease is as old as life, but the science of medicine is still young. And Julie is going to tell us a little bit about the science of medicine. Thank you.